The year is 2006, and LaDainian Tomlinson just completed maybe the greatest running back season ever, leading the Chargers to the best record in the NFL and also the best record in franchise history at 14-2. While putting up numbers from the running back position we may never see again. Over 1,800 rushing yards, over 500 receiving yards, and was responsible for over 33 touchdowns. 28 rushing, 3 receiving, and 2 passing. The most touchdowns by a non-quarterback in a single season in NFL history. A stat line so absurd that Tomlinson had more touchdowns in 2006 than 18 NFL teams did. That is not a typo, ladies and gentlemen. Tomlinson by himself outscored 18 NFL franchises in a season, resulting in him bringing home the MVP, officially setting the 2000s for running backs as the golden era. This time period for running backs was truly like no other. It felt as if every season a new player was setting a new record, and that's because they were. From players like Priest Holmes to Jamal Lewis to Chris Johnson, no previous record was safe in this decade. From start to finish, this era left no stone unturned. 3 running backs won MVP during this time period. LT in 06, as I mentioned, Shaun Alexander the year prior in 05, and Marshall Faulk in 2000 to kick off the decade. With 3 of the greatest running back seasons the game has ever seen. And that was the trend of the 2000s, year after year, seeing stat lines you thought were made up. The league had seen many all-time talents at running back up until this point. I mean, coming off the 90s, the NFL world just witnessed Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith dominate for a decade straight. But this was different. The amount of legendary performances all at the same time was unheard of. I'll explain it this way. Here is the top 10 in total yards from scrimmage before the start of the 2000 season. Marshall Faulk at the top of the list, setting the record a year prior to 2000, and a list decorated by Hall of Famers like Barry Sanders and Eric Dickerson. And rounding out this top 10 was William Andrews, who accumulated 2,176 yards in 1983. Now let's fast forward 10 years to the end of the 2009 season, and the former number 10 spot is all the way down at number 23, with 7 of the top 10 now being made up by seasons from the 2000s. Yeah, when I said this was different, I meant it. A 10-year window for running backs that will be talked about in the NFL history books. Chapter 1 could be about Priest Holmes and his 3-year stretch where he took over the NFL and was breaking records left and right. Or maybe in Chapter 2, you would learn about one of the most underrated running backs in recent memory in Clinton Portis, who opened up his first 4 years with 3 seasons of 1,500 rushing yards and double-digit touchdowns, while averaging 99 yards a game and has the 4th most rushing yards by a player in their first 4 seasons. And you could wrap it up in Chapter 3 reading about the second-year running back who averaged 156 total yards a game, broke the record for most yards from scrimmage in a season, and was essentially untouchable on a football field because of his speed. Or as my man Gus Johnson would say, and somehow that really is only the surface of the greatness that we witnessed from the ground game in the 2000s. Although this greatness would come to an abrupt stop come the 2010s. After years of non-stop dynamic and groundbreaking backs, it all completely went out the window. Here is the year-by-year rushing yard leader and rushing touchdown leader during those 2000s. 2 years of running backs with over 2,000 yards and 3 with over 1,800 yards. And as far as touchdowns, I mean, do I have to say much? A record 28 touchdowns, followed by 2 27 touchdown years and another 21 piece. Now let's fast forward to the 2010s, and this takes a drastic drop. Not a single player cracked over 18 touchdowns in a season and had 8 seasons where the leading rusher didn't reach over 1,650 yards, which only happened twice in the 2000s. Coming off an all-time stretch for the position, it almost felt like they had used up all these superhumans at running back and left none for the 2010s. And with this dilemma in the backfield, it created one of the biggest questions in sports at the time. Are running backs valuable? In this era, the value for the running back position was at an all-time low. The average career span for a running back in the 2010s was a measly 2.57 years, down almost a full season compared to the 2000s. It essentially made no sense to give a running back a second contract. You were better off just drafting one in the second or third round who could give you similar production for a quarter of the price. Although there was a team who didn't go for this model and stuck behind their dynamic playmaker in the backfield, but would ultimately pay the price for paying the price. In the 2015 NFL draft, there was a running back that had the potential to change the trajectory at the running back position. With the 10th overall pick, the St. Louis Rams selected RB out of Georgia, Todd Gurley, a team that finished 20th in rushing the year prior and had Trey Mason as their leading back, was looking for Gurley to take this offense to new heights. And let's just say he would do exactly that. Gurley would miss the first 2 games of his rookie season, recovering from an ACL tear, and would play limited snaps in the 3rd game of the season, accumulating only 6 carries. It was not until week 4 where Gurley would be fully cleared for all contact activities. And let's just say the kid was pretty good. 146, 159, 128, and 133 yards in his first 4 career starts, the most by any player in NFL history, showcasing to the NFL that the future of the running back position had arrived. He would finish his rookie campaign with nearly 1,300 total yards and double-digit touchdowns in essentially 12 games. I can't even imagine what a fully healthy 16-game season from a talent like this would have looked like. What, maybe 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns? 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns? Nah, who am I kidding? I mean, to put those type of expectations on any player is just too much.
2017 AP offensive, my bad, I'm nervous. Offensive Player of the Year is, I knew I'd screw something up. Oh.
Todd Gurley.
Oh, he actually exceeded anything I could have thought of. After an unreal rookie year and a slight sophomore slump, in Gurley's 3rd season, he would win Offensive Player of the Year with over 2,000 yards and 19 touchdowns. And he didn't stop there. He would follow up one of the best running back seasons in recent memory with another historic season. Nearly 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns in 2 seasons for the man out of Georgia. And if not for a knee injury that kept him out for the final 2 games of the year, Gurley could have potentially been looking at back-to-back Offensive Player of the Year trophies, rewriting the history books and bringing back that value to the running back position. And the Rams would repay him for all the troubles in the following offseason. Gurley would sign a 4-year deal worth $60 million with 45 guaranteed, the richest contract in NFL history for a running back. Although what transpired is something that the Rams couldn't see coming. After receiving this amount of money, Gurley just wasn't the same. He had dealt with multiple injuries in his career, but this was different. His head just looked out of the game. Todd would start 15 games the next season, but would fail to reach 900 rushing yards and averaged under 4 yards a carry. After back-to-back all-time seasons and receiving the biggest contract in NFL history for a running back, the Rams moved off Gurley just a year later. And he was ultimately out of the league entirely just 2 years later. An Offensive Player of the Year in 2017 to out of the league by 2020. But his effect dug deeper in the NFL world. After this haul that was given to the running back position, that gave incentive to other running backs to ask for a similar contract or even more. So in the 2019 offseason, 2 other faces of the running back position during the 2010s also received massive contracts. On March 13th, the Jets would sign Le'Veon Bell to a 4-year deal worth up to $52.5 million. And the Cowboys would give Ezekiel Elliott a historic extension for 6 years with a grand value of $90 million. And unfortunately, these 2 would crumble in similar fashion to Gurley. Le'Veon was off the Jets a year later and out of the league completely by 2022. And for Zeke, he was cut by the Cowboys 3 years later and is currently on the practice squad for the Chargers. 3 faces for the running back position in the 2010s who unfortunately left it in a bad spot. The league didn't know what to do following this chaos. Do we pay our running backs or not? Is there any value in it? What are the odds that they can even finish their second contract? Loads of questions and not many answers. But you know, a famous quote that has been around for as long as time: history always repeats itself. There was no way the 2010s is just always how it's going to be for running backs, right? I mean, that simply has got to be an anomaly. The 2000s brands of backs have to be on the horizon of returning, right? Well, for the short answer, the running back position is so back. After years and years of looking for backs to restore value in the position, we finally found our guys. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Ashton Genty. I mean, this list really can go on and on for quite some time. What these guys are doing for the league is special, and I mean really special. In 2024, we had 11 backs run for 10 plus touchdowns in a season, the first time since 2009. And we also had 5 backs have over 1,400 rushing yards. That's the first time since 2012. The league is in good hands at this position, especially behind this big three. What these backs did in 2024 most likely won't be replicated for quite some time. Saquon with maybe the greatest pure rushing season we've ever seen. Henry as the engine behind the second best offense in league history in yards per play had a season that locked him in the Hall of Fame. And the sophomore Gibbs, who also had a historic season despite only starting 4 games and had the 11th most carries in the league. After a down stretch looking for backs to revive the NFL, I can confidently say, folks, we are so back. Hope everyone who watched this video learned something and also enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.